Okay, so we've been basically for the past 2.5 weeks just laying foundation, laying groundwork. I've been talking about attitude. I've been giving you different mantras to reinforce the ideas and the new consciousness that you're developing. So today I want to talk about the load and how heavy is your load, how heavy is the burden that you've been carrying around. And a professor gave a good analogy of this. Professor walked into his university classroom and he said to the student, he was holding, as a matter of fact, a jar filled with rocks and pebbles and marbles. And he asked the student, how heavy is the jar? And they started guessing. Well, it looks about a pound and a half, 2 pounds. One student even guessed 5 pounds. Now there was this one particular student, big Arnold Schwarzenegger type looking guy. And he said, well, that's not heavy at all. That jar is not heavy at all. The professor said, great, come up here. Hold the jar and hold it out in your hand and stay there. So the student held the jar while the professor continued his lecture. After about 5 minutes, the student's hand started shaking. The professor said, what's wrong with you? He said, it's getting heavy. The professor said, well, don't be an idiot, put it down. So he put the jar down. And that's my point. A lot of times we pick up this jar and we have our resentments, our anger, our issues from the past, and we carry this jar around with us all day, all night. The minute someone calls, you get on the phone, remember what they did to me, and let me tell you what this person did and what that, and you carry this jar and it's getting heavier and heavier by the minute. All you need to do is, okay, because the ego feels entitled to its anger and its resentment, but every now and then it's okay to put the jar down. Give yourself a rest. And not only do you want to put the jar down, you want to open the jar and start pulling out the different stuff. What is this resentment? Oh, I know what this is. This is that argument I had with my mom back in ’71. Well, is this still serving me? Not at all. So you look at it, you examine the burden that you carry. Well, I really don't need this. I don't know why we even argue about it. You know what? I don't need that. And you throw it away. You pick something else up and you look, oh, that's when that fool cheated on me. And you start examining, wait a minute, we're not even together. As a matter of fact, she with another man who's abusive. Good for her. And you start letting your jar get loose and lighter as you drop your burdens. You start pulling them and examining them and seeing that they don't really serve you. But too many times we walk around and we hold on to the jar. I'm entitled to this resentment because after what they did to me, I have a right to be angry. And we hold on to it and we feel, this is mine. I earned this pain. And we like to go around being the victim, telling everybody, remember what they did to me? My mom still tells me with passion what my dad did to her 40 years ago, 30 years ago. And she's still talking about what her father did, my grandfather. I'm like, Mommy, put the jar down. Because my grandfather's in Jamaica in a state of bliss. My dad is on his little farm in a state of bliss. He's not mad with anyone. He's just going about his life. But you're carrying around this jar and it's causing you to age prematurely. It's causing your blood pressure to rise. Every time you think about it, you don't feel good. So let it go. Don't think about that stuff. Just say, you know what? I forgive you and I don't need the jar and I release you. And you put it down, you take a deep breath, and you move on. Of course, every now and then issues from the jar might pop out and might arise and you might need to take a look at it and see exactly what's going on. Because a lot of times we really believe that we have to call someone and speak to them in order to forgive them. No. You can just release it. They don't even have to know. They'll know spiritually and energetically, but you don't need to call and get in any confrontation. Just release it. Start opening your jar and paying attention to the issues, the problems, the anger, the resentment, the emotions that you're feeling. And these emotions that are weighing you down and making you feel as though the world is against you. And as you start paying attention to your jar and examining the different pebbles in the jar, you'll begin to lighten your load. So that's our lesson for today, and we'll talk more tomorrow.